Welcome to the Aegis Interactive Asia Business Mobility Asia Covid-19 Business Travel and Investigations Update, 13th December 2020. This week we're looking at the three interconnected economies of Singapore, Malaysia and Indonesia. Cases in Singapore are at near to zero, apart from returning travellers, all of whom are in quarantine. Malaysia is in a very bad second wave with around 1,500 new cases per day, with a strong upward trend since early September, following 3 months of close to zero cases. Indonesia has been on a steady climb since March, with currently 5,000 to 6,000 new cases daily. Singapore is operating on a COVID normal concept, with almost all business open, but with restrictions on numbers and the use of tracing apps. And of course, masks are compulsory whilst in public. Malaysia has extended the Movement Control Order, or MCO, to 31st of December. This means no international or domestic cross-border travel is permitted other than under special circumstances. All schools remain closed. Food outlets are only open between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m, and only 2 persons are allowed to leave the household for essential shopping. Only non-contact fresh air sport is allowed. All entertainment venues are closed. There's no enforced work from home, but it is encouraged. The situation in Indonesia is somewhat shambolic. Regional governments make their own rules, and these can change without notice. The government has taken the view that saving the livelihoods of its citizens is more important than trying to save the lives of citizens, given the poor standard of healthcare. And to be fair, Indonesia, with 260 million people, of whom 220 million are chronically poor, cannot afford to tank its economy and starve its citizens. Mask wearing, however, is required in Indonesia, and the police are running a charm campaign to encourage rather than enforce compliance. Travel to Singapore is opening more now, with entry without quarantine possible from Australia, Brunei, New Zealand, mainland China, Taiwan and Vietnam. The Hong Kong bubble is suspended until the 12th of whenever. Other entry is only possible for citizens and residents, and may or may not require quarantine or home isolation. No tourists, other than from those quarantine-free countries. Travel to Malaysia is closed to anyone not considered a citizen or resident. Others with special permission may enter, but there are no visas being issued. Everyone arriving must do 14 days quarantine. Travel to Indonesia is open unless you're a tourist, in which case it's not. So citizens, residents, holders of a business visa or the APEC travel card may all enter. There is no quarantine unless you test positive for COVID, and remember, no tourists. The investigation scene is completely open in Singapore and Indonesia, but less so in Malaysia. Access to information sources is open in each country, and we continue to execute investigations in all 3 countries using our own resources. We've just completed a successful investigation in Indonesia involving the interviewing of a suspect, seizing and analysing his computer and his mobile phone for evidence, getting a confession from him and recovering the defrauded cash from him as well. Good job, well done by the team. We also continue to execute due diligence and intelligence gathering cases across Asia, and specifically in Singapore, Indonesia and other parts of the region. And a big thanks to all our friendly connections who have continued to be of great help to us over this period. Malaysia, however, for investigations remains problematic right now with the lack of access to people in areas. So that's it for this week. You can find us on our dedicated business travel investigations website, businessmobilityasia.com, as well as aegisinteractiveasia.com. Also LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. For some reason, our YouTube channel has been very popular this week. Not sure why, but we're happy about it. Next week, we'll be taking a slightly different approach. I won't spoil the surprise, but the content and format will certainly be different. Until then, stay well and wear a mask.